Soul Simmers, welcome in or welcome back to another part of the Mod Mansion Speedbuild series. If you have missed part 1 and part 2, please make sure to watch those, of course, if you want to, because that is where we build the shell, we do the landscaping, and we actually work on the first part of the common areas, where we work on the kitchen, the dining area, the pantry, and one of the first living rooms, and also the home cinema. So if you haven't seen that, please make sure to check it out. It is actually really fun. I talk a bit more about the vision behind the project and just in general, like what this mansion entails and how we came up with the idea. So if you haven't seen those, they are both listed in the playlist that I've made on my channel for all of the episodes, so you can easily find everything. But in this episode, we actually start with decorating the home library. This personally might be one of my favorite rooms in the entire house. I had such a great time making this home library. I said to myself that I really wanted to make a room in the house where everyone could unplug. So the goal for this room ended up being that there was basically no electronics. There was no computer, no TV, only very cozy lighting. It was a space where everyone could basically just kind of detach from the world and just escape in the beautiful stories that books can provide us. And eventually, as soon as I started working on everything, people started coming up with ideas on how to make this even better. So you just saw when we zoomed in, it has the starry night sky at the ceiling. We added all of the planets. So we really took inspiration from those old-fashioned home library rooms and stuff, which I think, let's be real, anyone who is a reader dreams of having a room like this. Maybe not specifically in this style, but imagine living in a house and literally just having a huge home library like this. Something that was so fun with this part of the build as well is that it sparked a big conversation on what everyone was reading on stream, what everyone is reading on in the community. And if you're watching this episode, I would love to hear in the comments what you're currently reading, what your favorite genre is to read, if you have any book recommendations, because let's be real, book talk is one of the funnest chats that you can have with people online. I love to hear what people are reading or hearing any recommendations. Something that was also really fun in relation to the book talk was the chat about what kind of books we would have in this library. And that was actually kind of a fun chat, because we realized that even though all of us are readers and we are with 15 people, we don't think we would be able to fill this library because this has so many books in it. And I'm curious, also another question for you guys watching the speed build, do you think you could fill this library if you, do you have a lot of books? Are you a person that prefers to read on their e-reader? Are you someone who borrows books at the library? Or are you a little book hoarder and might you be able to fill this room? I think it's just really fun to think about. I love books, but I also, I don't want to go broke when I'm buying books. So I'm definitely trying to prioritize buying series that I actually genuinely really love, have a deep love for, because I've read them on my e-reader, for instance, or I read them through library books. And I feel I don't think I could fill this. I have 2 of the IKEA Billies and they are not even completely filled with books, also with a bunch of clutter. And then I have my partner who's literally a historian and he doesn't even have this many books. So I wonder what kind of books we would have that we actually fill the space so much that books also end up outside of the bookcases. But it is fun to realize that we could potentially fill this book or this bookcase in this library over time, and that the longer we live here, the more books accumulate. I think that is actually a really cute idea. After we're done with this library, you'll actually see me move on to the room next door, which is going to be a game room. And I feel the game room ends up being the complete opposite of this specific room, where this room is completely here to unplug and to relax and not have any digital distractions or no computers, no TV, no game consoles, not even tabletop games. This is really a place to basically not get your dopamine boosts, maybe apart from books, of course. But then the room next to it is literally opposite. It is a dopamine room plus. So we'll have a big TV, we'll have consoles, we'll have game tables. I even ended up downloading a bunch of CC to have even more functional game tables. I got an entire casino set so that my mods would be able to play some casino games. We literally found every single game table in the game and added them into this room. We didn't end up using all of them, but it was basically basically like how many can we fit in this room together. So we ended up downloading like the pool table SCC, which is functional by the way, which is super cool. It was actually really nice. I've used it in other builds now, and it's really fun to see your Sims play with it because it also comes with like a bunch of animations and stuff. But I really wanted this to be one of those rooms where you could hang out either with the mods as your friends, or like you could invite friends over and you could just hang out here, play like some games on the console, play things like Mario Kart, have like just a nice evening with some games, some drinks. I guess this is also the downstairs floor, like this room, the kitchen next to it, and then the party room that is going to be adjacent to it as well. Those are all like the spaces where I could see us hosting parties, where we could like host friends nights over and stuff like that. And I think it's just such a nice space to hang out and relax. I mean, all of us are on Twitch for a reason. We are all gamers. We all enjoy games. Most of us, funnily enough, enjoy The Sims, so we wouldn't be able to play that here. But I do think that it's still very nice to have a space like this together. This is also the first room that opens up to the outside, where like there is not just a balcony or a door, but it's actually like partially open, sort of with that patio space. We ended up even adding game tables there to try and sort of create this seamless integration between the outside space and the inside space, because obviously this mansion is built in Del Sol Valley, which is considered to be like LA, Hollywood kind of vibes, which all is quite warm, or at least nice enough weather that you can have a space that is partially open to the outside. And I feel like yet again, because of that reason, it works really well as a common space or like as a community space, because I can just see myself on those days where it's like really warm outside and you're just vibing in this room and you kind of move in between outside, inside, you have like a nice drink, you're just chilling. Obviously, in the scenario where me and my mods are living in this mansion, we are all retired young, we have a lot of money and a lot of free time, and we get to work whenever we want, but it's not mandatory. So I can see myself hang out in this room a lot, simply to just like, you know, have fun and relax a little bit. And I feel like that sort of opening to the outside world is really for me at least, is giving like holiday home. It's giving relaxation, it's giving, you know, chill time and time to hang out and unwind and relax together, whether that be reading in the dark room next to it, like, you know, in the dark space, the dark library, lots of low lights, or in this room where everything feels like it's a summer home. I think the fact that we have all of that in one mansion just really, again, makes me so envious of Sims that would get to live here, because I want to be able to live here. I feel like this space, I would just thrive in a house like this. Obviously, I'll never have the money for it. And also, I think if I realistically lived in a house like this, it would probably be fun for a while, but eventually you're also going to get used to all of this and it's going to just become your new normal. And I don't think it's going to feel that special anymore, unfortunately. But I do feel like right now a girl can dream. I would love to live in a house where I would have like all of these spaces to practice all of my hobbies and just unwind and all of those things. Then, like I already said, next to this room, there's going to be another kitchen. We realized that there was sort of this small in-between space, this in-between space between this room and the party room that's going to be all the way at the end. And we had to have it open up because there was not really a hallway that we could use. And I didn't want Sims to always have to walk outside to get to the other rooms. So on one hand, this was a big hallway. And on the other hand, I wanted to make sure that this space also, like, it felt like a space where your Sims could walk through as a hallway, but also it had like a function or a role. But the room was relatively small. Obviously, this is not a small room by any means. It fits a ginormous kitchen. But, you know, in comparison to other rooms in this house, this was one of the smaller rooms. And I realized that it might actually be really nice to have a kitchen, but kind of like one of those outdoor kitchens, because this room also, again, opens up to the outdoor space. So I end up using that outdoor space to add two like nice big round tables outside and then have the grill and everything. Then sort of the little patio space, we add like a winery, and just there's like a bunch of things that I can imagine you would use if you have like a nice summer night out and you're just vibing and chilling. It's not really the kitchen where you would be cooking. It's more like the kitchen where you would be heating up a quick snack or getting like a nice glass of wine, or where you would hang out with your friends and you would have like all of your snacks stored in the fridge. You might have prepared them upstairs in the big kitchen, but then you took them down here so that you could just quickly walk in and get yourself a refreshment. It's also the place where you would get yourself your lemonade when you're hanging out at the pool. I'm not sure if I'm like sharing the vision correctly. I don't know if a kitchen like this has a name. I am by far not rich enough or well versed enough in rich people language to explain what this would be called. But I feel like this is one of those things where it's like, it's your second kitchen in your house. It's not made for all of the actual cooking, but it is made for easy access to food and drinks, if that makes any sense. And I think that fits very well with it being close to the library, close to the cinema, close to the game room, close to the party room, close to your outdoor grill space, close to basically a lot of the other spaces where you would hang out with either other of the people that are living in this house, like with your roomies, or where you would be inviting friends over to have a drink or have some food and stuff like that. So again, I feel like in a way this is almost more the informal kitchen. This is not where you would host your dinner parties, but it is where you would hang out with people that you know really well that come over to your house like quite often, if that makes sense. Then, like I already said a couple of times, we also added a party room, which is going to be basically left of this kitchen as you're seeing the kitchen right now. And this was something that caused, I wouldn't say controversy, that's like too big of a word, but it was just really funny to realize that all of us agreed that it wouldn't be a mansion without a party room. But also, none of us are really party people. Like, all of us, or not all of us, but some of us had our wild times. We do enjoy a night out. But we all agreed that we probably wouldn't want to have like big parties or like very loud parties in our house because none of us would really enjoy that. So then we figured, how about we make a party room that's like sensory friendly so that you can still have a party, but you don't bother any of the other people with it. And that resulted in the idea for a silent disco. So basically what I did is I decorate the entire room as if it's like a nightclub. So everything's very dark. We end up like adding a bunch of neon lights. There's a dance floor. There is like a DJ booth, and I don't know if I end up keeping the DJ booth. I think I get rid of the DJ booth and I add like a stereo, and then I just place a bunch of headphones as decoration. And then it looks like you can grab like headphones and your Sims can dance just with the headphones on instead of them actually like putting on a stereo on blast and then, making a lot of noise for the people that are also sleeping downstairs, because there's 2 bedrooms that end up being downstairs. And for some reason, this just also sparked like a very interesting conversation about a lot of people on my stream had never heard of the concept of a silent disco, or they had heard of it, but they'd never been to one. So again, I'm super curious for you guys watching this on YouTube. Have you ever been to a silent disco? Have you ever heard of a silent disco before? If not, like, would you like to go to one? If for anyone who doesn't know what the concept is, just in case, a silent disco is basically you have headphones on and then everyone is listening to music through their headphones. You can have different channels. So sometimes you can have like, people next to you listening to different music than you are. And often it's not extremely silent because people will start singing along and everything. And obviously it's still a big crowd of people listening to music, but it's a lot quieter than actually having music on blast. It allows you to broadcast music on different channels, meaning that people at the same party can listen to like different types of music and stuff. So yeah, I really personally enjoy silent discos a lot. So I think it was extra cool that we had this in our mod mansion as well. As you can see here, I'm also adding like neon rainbow lights. I don't remember if this part of the build was done during Pride Month. I think it was prior to Pride Month. But on my Twitch streams, we are a very LGBTQIA plus friendly community. Not just on my Twitch streams, by the way, but that's a place where we explicitly talk about it quite often, rather than on YouTube. It's more like if you are, not a nice person, you are going to get kicked, and I'm not going to be tolerating of anything, but it's not something that I actively discuss. But being part of the queer community myself, I do feel like it is really cool to incorporate these things. Obviously, this rainbow is not very subtle, but it's always nice to have like a moment where we talk about it together on stream, and it's always a nice moment to make people feel seen and make people feel heard. And we also said like we have multiple people from the queer community in the mod team, so obviously we needed to make sure that there was a rainbow room in the house to represent that. I have added a couple of pride flags or pride items throughout the build as well, so you'll see that as we are working through some of the rooms of some of the mods. But I feel like this room is like a place where we can celebrate pride together, and I think that's extra cool. So yeah, let me know in the comments down below what your thoughts are on this part of the build so far. And then something that I also really liked about this party room is the fact that it basically connects to the outdoor space where we have the pool. And I just really like the idea of having like pool parties and stuff. So people are just chilling outside. People are like swimming. Again, this place is in my brain, like I envision this to be a place where it's usually pretty warm, so you can go out in like late summer nights, go out and swim. And I like the idea of you just being able to go out, swim, and then go back in and maybe like dance and stuff. I don't know, I can just see some really awesome but like sensory friendly parties being thrown here, and I just love that. I think it's really cool. Another thing that you see us do here now is that we're actually working on the gym. We do have a bunch of people in the community that all said that they enjoy a good workout, or at least that they do workouts, not necessarily always enjoy them. So I wanted to make sure that there was space for a gym as well. I end up adding 2 saunas as well. And then the funny thing is we randomized where everyone's bedroom would be, but one of the biggest gym rats in the community is actually on the bottom floor right next to the gym space. So I feel like in the end, the universe said the gym is going here, Mick is going here, and I'll definitely talk a little bit about that in the episode where we work on his room. But I think it is always fun to see that this space, again, this house holds space for everyone's interests, and is again a space where we can genuinely like live together and all work on our health, both mental and physical health, and have just a really good time. I think that does conclude our episode here. So I'm going to leave you guys to watch the rest and like the last little bit of this build with some nice music. Again, we have one more episode coming up for common spaces, and then we're going to start with the bedrooms. So let me know if you are excited for a specific part of the common spaces, if there's anything that you're curious to see or missing in the build so far. And just in general, if you have any questions or anything, feel free to let me know. But if you want to download the shell, again, the empty shell is up on my gallery. My gallery is just Rosannatxt. Unfortunately, this build does contain a lot of CC, and it got lost thanks to EA. So I guess in that sense, I won't be able to say the build with CC is up on my gallery as well. These speed builds are going to be the one and only thing keeping this project alive. So if you've been watching, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. If you like this episode, please toss it a cheeky like. If you're not subscribed to my YouTube channel yet, I do not only building, but also Let's Plays. I do tutorials, I do mod reviews, I do CC hauls, etc. So feel free to check out my channel, and if you like what you see, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and notification bell. And with all of that being said, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye, everyone!